Hey guys, welcome back to Combustion Junction. I'm Steve, there's the Honda400, and this is episode 16. Okay, so before I get started on today's content, I wanted to give a real special shout out, hello, and huge thank you to Dan over at CafeRacer Garage. He gave a shout out to me on his channel and sent some of his subscribers over my way, and dude, so appreciated. And if you are watching this and you don't know who Dan is, go check him out. His link will be below. Awesome guy, great builder. He has an insane ability to do really cool stuff with fiberglass that you would never imagine for someone just in their garage making their own forms and stuff. It's really cool. So Dan, thank you very much. Huge thank you and huge thumbs up. For everybody else that's new, welcome, and let's get to it. So I've been away for way longer than I thought. Life, kids, work, sickness, travel, you name it, it all got in the way. And what's funny is that I'm almost done the bike and kind of didn't really want to have this kind of a break, but I did. I didn't actually think I had a lot to do on this one. There was just a lot of little buttoning up. The back brakes, I'll give you sort of the short answers on a couple of things. The back brakes, that little pivot lever, I was looking to find and trying to match up with the right size sprocket. So the parts bike I had was a CJ 360? Anyway, it had the larger size sprocket. The CB 360 that I'll be working on next had actually the right size sprocket. So I stole the part off that, put on this bike just to get everything kosher. But now I know that I can probably go through, like, get the same part from any of the CB series bikes, most likely. So back brakes have been solved. I've got the exhaust pipes off, giving those a black paint. I was originally gonna wrap them, but the bike has such a metal black themed, and the wrap that I had purchased was titanium. So I'm actually just gonna start by doing just a flat black high heat on the pipes. And see how I like that and the look of it. So they're off, they'll get painted today and put back on. As well as some of the engine stuff. This particular engine cover here has all the paint missing from it, and it's just had damage, just weather damage or whatever. The rest of the black on the engine is actually in really good shape, and I'm gonna leave well enough alone on that. The valve cover I probably will paint. I haven't decided, probably black again or leave it silver. I don't know, just that with the silver of the tank. I don't love them being right next to each other, so I may take that off and paint it. I may wait, but I will remove this cover and paint it with the black. That extra piece of metal that was on that engine bracket that I never removed, gonna get that off and get that bracket off and cleaned up and painted. And then there was one other thing I discovered about the gas tank, which is kind of cool. It kind of does a full circle of the entire build of sort of where I started and where I went, and in terms of just the whole style and look of the bike. I sort of stumbled upon this new look, just a new way of mounting the tank that just kind of, it was just like an aha moment. So I haven't done anything other than kind of conceive of it, so I'm hoping to get on that today. Let's get to it. While all that stuff's drying, I'm gonna talk about the tank and the placement and what I think I figured out. So, if you look at it now, this is as I've built it. The ties pulling the forks down aren't very tight at all, so there's not a whole lot of downward pressure. So take no mind that the bike might be pulled down. And I was happy with the look. Obviously, you know, I pulled up on the back to get the subframe and everything going, and it you know, in my original design, it was creating this line that flowed through, and I've been happy with it until with these tanks they have the little hooks that go on the little rubber knobs here. Pretty standard Honda thing. So I was putting it on, taking it off, putting it on, taking it off. The one time that I wasn't really paying attention, instead of sliding the hook into the rubber grommet or around the rubber grommet, I accidentally laid that hook on top. And this is the result. And it's actually funny, I didn't realize I did it at first, and kind of stepped away and stepped back, and I was just like, why does the bike look so much better? And it's just that little bit of lift that it gave, and all of a sudden the line that I was originally sort of you know, trying to get in place, all of a sudden just went kapow. And this little dip, it always dipped a little bit here, and I actually got some flack on one of the forums when I was putting up pictures and stuff. A guy was just like, you're never gonna get the gas from this part. And I was kind of gonna live with it, because, you know, it's a custom creation, and you can't be perfect. And at the time, you know, when I was doing this, I didn't know if the tank was gonna be the tank or if I was gonna find something else. So this, all of a sudden, it's like just not only the line of the tank, but just the fact that it gives it a little bit more air under here. It's kind of hard to see without, you know, maybe it's because I've been staring at it for so long, but all of a sudden the entire look kind of came together, and the whole purpose for all of this subframe and all of the modifications here and everything else I've done all of a sudden made sense when this tank rose 1 inch on the front. So I'm going to remount it so it permanently sits like this. In terms of front to back, it's kind of in the same place, and even the whole higher profile of how this now kind of scoops a little bit into this, I just totally dig. And if you stand back, you just like, look at that presence. It all of a sudden, it's 360 for me. It's full circle. That little bit of change right there, you can even just see that line is just beautiful now. I picked up some just stock round bar. It's pretty much within a cup, like within 0.2 millimeters, the same size as the mounts on the frame. Let me get you closer, I'll show you what I'm gonna do. The lip of the sort of the C was sitting right on that, and that got me my placement. So I'm basically gonna go as high as I can on this ridge. I'm gonna cut it as one full piece to go from side to side. I'll measure that distance out. This little nook right here, I'm going to take a little bit of a notch out of it on the backbone of the spine and lay it flat on the bar underneath. These guys will kind of end up right there, and it shouldn't, in fact, it'll be up a little bit, and I shouldn't have to touch this for now. So what I'll end up with is these guys here nicely flat on the frame, and I can just give some nice strong welds there, and tank will be moved. say. Definitely leave me a comment on if you think what I did on the tank was worth it, or if you think I'm nuts and didn't really make a difference at all. I know I was looking at one of the shots, and I know that in one of the straight on shots, it almost looks like it was kind of catching me off guard, because it looked like the tank was swooping up a little bit, like the seat was down and up into the tank. But in person, it's not the case. I'm not sure why that translated that way. Anyway, let me know. Let me know if you think it was worth it to go through that effort. Next episode, I'm actually going to break down the budget on this bike. I think a lot of people are going to be really surprised at how little you can invest to get something like this. There's a lot of bikes out there that guys tear down to paint, to customize, to whatever, and they just get stuck in the process of it. And you open up Craigslist or Kijiji or whatever, and there's always a new bike that someone has partially disassembled to whatever. And if it's in pieces and it's not running, it's worth way less, which was totally the case of this. Now in my case, I got the benefit of all the powder coating and all the bearings and the tires and everything else. So I really was way ahead of the game in terms of the final finishes on a bike in pieces. Now I did lose out on the engine, but I did find one from another source at a good value. I had to source mufflers and all kinds of little bits and pieces like that. But I've started to sort of break down the numbers, because I wasn't really paying attention. You kind of keep it in the back of your mind, but and I was a bit surprised at how much this cost, or how little this cost. So I'm gonna do that breakdown in the next couple of days, so keep your eyes out for that. Hit subscribe if you want to keep up to date, and hit the bell if you want to get notifications. Leave a comment down below. I would love to hear what you think about this or anything else that's going on. The CB360 is coming up, so be sure to keep in touch for that. Leave me a like on this video, lets other people know that it's worth checking out, and we will talk to you next time, guys. Cheers.